Blackie Lawless seuraavaksi ja kattokaa tässä myös sen ihania housu.
You have a new album coming. Can you tell us something about that?
It's called Dominator, and it is based on the idea of Western imperialism and about what's wrong with Washington, D.C. And it's important that people understand this is not about the American people, and it's not a critique on the American people. It's a critique on the government in the United States. If someone looks at the lyrics of Dominator, they'll think it's a man talking to a woman. And I like the interesting concept of that because that's what bigger countries do to smaller countries. They talk to them like they're their bitch.
You have criticized some of your presidents, Reagan and Bush. Why?
For the same reason you do. I mean, I don't need to give everyone a quick history lesson here about American imperialism. You know, the Republican administrations that have been in Washington in the last, well, since the Second World War, have been really dominated by big business. And big business really, that's all they care about. You know, since what we call the Great Depression in the 1930s, it was just prior to the Second World War, America became more of a socialist country. So we're in some ways socialist democratic. Not in the terms of the way Europe would think of a socialist democrat, but we are a combination or a hybrid of the two, where we think more socially now than just democratic, because when we say democratic is another word for capitalism in America. And we found that capitalism could not survive on its own. So anyway, I mean, this is just, you know, a quick crash course and what's wrong with those administrations, because their whole theology was to build walls high enough around themselves to insulate themselves from the rest of the world. That cannot be done.
There's some fuss about your website that you have died. That's a really sick news, but can this be good publicity in any way?
I don't know, I probably look pretty good for a dead guy though, right? Over the years, people have said a lot of things that doesn't mean anything. But when somebody puts something like that on, the thing that you're most in fear of is that your parents will see it first before you have a chance to talk to them. And what people don't realize is that, you know, we're humans too. We have families, you know, people that could potentially get really upset, have a heart attack and die. I mean, you know, imagine if your parents, you know, were to read something like that about you before you had a chance to explain to them what it was. So those things can be really, really hurtful. I mean, if the music that I write isn't good enough to really make a difference to the fans, then I'm in big trouble.